Sorted it. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the last of the Lockdown Life to Loving Life Lazy Life Lounge workshops. So my name's Shell. I am the resident sleep expert. I hope everyone's having a lovely day today, even in the beautiful weather we're having. Sorry, I've literally been joined by my cat in the last 5 seconds. If you're going to join in, sweetheart, come over here. Yeah, okay, cool. So I am here to talk to you about how to improve your sleep whilst you are perimenopausal. So let me just sort my screens out so I'm all here. Amazing. Cool. So as you said, we are going to look today at improving your sleep whilst you are perimenopausal, or to be fair, whilst you're menopausal as well. It sort of covers the same thing. Just a quick introduction to myself. I am Shell. I run Shell McKee Wellness. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a medical professional. There are some sleep conditions whereby I would refer you to seek professional advice from a GP. However, there's a whole lot of stuff that you can actually do yourself to make a massive, massive difference to your sleep in your daily life. And then the knock-on effect of that is that your daily life will improve as well. So I am 36. I'm a mother to a 6-year-old, and a few years ago, I decided that I wanted to change my profession. I wanted to be at home. Well, I didn't want to be where I was, and I knew I wanted to help people. So going back through my past, I had suffered with mental health since the age of 14, and suffered with weight problems and all this sort of stuff. And I'd managed to find a whole lot of things that actually helped myself, and a whole lot of people that helped myself. And then I wanted to give back and help others in the same sort of way. So I did my personal training qualification, and once I passed that, I then found a sleep recovery specialist qualification, and it really intrigued me. So I had to look into it, and I did it, and I just fell in love with sleep. Like, I've had terrible sleep before. I have really, really suffered, and it has affected my mental health. And so when I started looking into the who's, what's, why's, where's, and when's of sleep, and why it was so important, it just suddenly hit a nerve, and it's now my mission, basically, to get people sleeping better, to change their overall wellness. So yeah, that's me in a very, very quick nutshell. Now, bear in mind, I could stay and sleep. I could stay and talk about sleep for a good couple of hours. So I've tried to condense this into enough time so that you're not tied into this all day. So why is sleep so important? Now, when you think about it, if you ever sort of look at wanting to improve your lifestyle, or you want to feel healthier, or you want to feel better, the common things that you go for tend to be, you look at what you're eating, or you look at going to the gym. That's always been the sort of fundamental bits of like health and fitness. Personally, and this is coming to me much more at the forefront now as well, I believe underpinning everything, absolutely everything, is sleep. Poor sleep affects so much stuff to do with your health, and also to do with your sort of physical performance during your lifestyle as well. So to give you a brief idea, bad sleep will affect how your body loses or gains weight. So sleep deprivation messes around with your hormones, ghrelin and leptin, which is your hunger hormone and your satiating hormone, and it will actually affect how your body loses weight or how it gains weight. So poor sleep or sleep deprivation has actually been known to increase weight gain around the mid area. You increase body fat. You will find that if you are poorly slept, if you have seen a loss on the scales, it might actually be more to do with muscle loss as opposed to actual fat loss, because when you're underslept, your body becomes stingy. It goes into survival mode, and it will try and give up muscle mass over body fats because it wants that body fat to keep you warm and carrying on going, basically. It affects our mood. I will hold my hands up. If I do not get my 8 hours of sleep a night, I am horrendous. I am not a nice person. But it affects our mood. And linking to that, it also then affects our mental health. So it's proven that when you're underslept, you are much more susceptible to anxiety. Obviously, it's going to impact on things like depression, low mood, and stuff like that as well. So it has a massive effect there. It also affects our insulin resistance. So if you are sleep deprived, your insulin resistance changes and it tries to keep glucose going around your body still, which also will then lead to a potential risk of diabetes. It affects your cognitive performance. So your brain doesn't quite work as well as it would do normally. There's a really lovely thing that I read, or not lovely as such, but an interesting thing I read from Guy Meadows, who's a sleep researcher, who says that when you're sleep deprived, for example, when you have been awake for more than 17 hours, it has the equivalent impact on our ability to focus as a blood alcohol level of 5%. And the blood alcohol level of 5% is the legal driving limit. Now, coming from a mum perspective, flashback to the early days, the newborn stages, when you'd had a disturbed night's sleep as it was, you've probably got up early, and then you're busy throughout the day. If you then drive at that later hour, your cognitive performance is hindered because of the lack of sleep. It will affect your physical performance. You date so many athletes and football teams and sports teams at the moment who actually hire sleep coaches because they know it will affect their performance. I'm pretty sure it was Usain Bolt who, before he ran one of his record break. I'll let that fall down. Before he ran one of his record-breaking runs, he actually was asleep up till about like half an hour beforehand or something, because he knew the massive effects from it. It affects the regulation of our hormones. So if you're underslept, your hormones get all out of sync. You also become more susceptible to illnesses. You are more likely to experience heart-related issues is what I'm trying to say. There was an interesting study with some people in Greece, and they looked at a wide range of people who previously had no history of heart attack or stroke. And what they did is they took away those afternoon siestas. So one group of people had the afternoon siesta, had the afternoon nap, and another group of people didn't. And what was found was in the group that didn't have the nap anymore, didn't have the afternoon siesta, they actually had a 37% increased risk of death from heart disease just by dropping that nap. Looking at the working men, the working men in that group who dropped their nap actually went up by the risk increased to up to 60% just from dropping naps. So it does really show how integral sleep is. Now, one of my favourite quotes to really hit home, I put at the bottom, it affects the length of your life. So Professor Matthew Walker, who's a neuroscientist and really good sleep expert, his quote is, "Short sleep predicts all-cause mortality." So the shorter you sleep, the shorter your life will be. Because if you have a look at everything, I suppose I'm that way, aren't I? No, mirror image, there we go. If you have a look at everything there, it can essentially all, unfortunately, lead to death at the end of the day. If you're not functioning cognitively at 100%, you're more likely to have accidents. And there's all the illnesses and stuff that's linked to it as well, which can lower your life expectancy. So it really is the underpinning foundation. I cannot stress this enough. It's the underpinning foundation. It's not just something that, oh, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Because unfortunately, if you don't, then it's going to come quicker than you think. Let's move on from the morbid bits. So what is actually happening when you sleep? Why, what's the point in sleeping? So I thoroughly used to believe that when you're asleep, you're just like this. Okay, nothing's happening. You're still, obviously you sort of twitch and stuff, but it's basically that your body is shut down and gone. And it's not. It's really, really interesting. There is so much stuff going on when you are asleep. So whilst you're asleep, you don't just go from like awake into your dream, into your deep sleep, have a deep sleep, come back up and then wake up for the next day. We actually sleep in cycles, and we tend to, or we should aim to go through 5 cycles every night, and each cycle lasts around 90 minutes. Now, it's not, set in stone that, but that's a general rule of thumb. So this is my Fitbit reading from the 4th of September. Now, with your smartwatches and stuff, they are really, really good to get a bit of an insight. Some of them, though, take with a pinch of salt. They're not, they're not a polysomnograph in the sort of lab sense, but they do give you a good insight to give you, a basic idea. So what you can see is that I start off awake. I'm going to put my cursor, there we go. I start off awake, and then very quickly I drop down into light sleep, and I very quickly drop down into deep sleep, and then I cycle back up again and woke up again, and down into light and up. So we're cycling through. Now, if you have a look at here, so I've gone awake, and we're going down into deep, and then we go back up into our REM sleep. Now, there are little parts of awakenings throughout the night. Now, each stage in the sleep cycle has a different purpose, and they are all super important. So the REM stage, the rapid eye movement stage, that's your dream stage. So that is, it's really, really important for emotional first aid, your REM sleep. It's where your creativity and your problem solving comes from. So you do tend to find, this is where your brain's busy and these dreams are being broadcast in your mind. As mammals, as humans, we actually tend to have more REM sleep than, say, chimps and apes and stuff like that. And that is sort of one of the reasons why they maybe think that we are now the slightly more intelligent species, because of that increased level of REM sleep that we have. After you go through your dream sleep, you go into the 2 stages, or there's a bit more broken up, but there's 2 stages of NREM, so non-REM sleep, which is your light stage and then your deep sleep stage. Now, these 2 stages are really, really important for memory, for cellular regeneration, and for clearing out of toxins. So if you think about your memory, obviously stuff's happening throughout the day. You're listening to this whenever you come to watch it, and you'll have all these new facts, and all these new facts will be going into your brain. And you have essentially like a little USB stick here that's collecting all the information from the day. So you might have learned a fact when you were out in town shopping. You might have learned not to put your hand on a hot plate, all these little bits of facts that you'll learn throughout the day. But it can only store so much. So when you go to sleep, and bear with me because in my head, there's little people in your brain that do this. But when you sleep, all the bits of information that you've come across that day are going to be sorted out. And some are going to get stored onto your hard drive, so into your brain. And some of them are just going to get discarded because it's stuff that you don't need to know. It's useless information that you've picked up that day, and it might be something you already know or you already do. So it sorts it out, and it essentially clears that USB stick ready for your next day. So you may well find if you've had disturbed sleep, or if you've had a lack of sleep, you suddenly think, oh, why can't I remember that? My memory's going, what did I do then? Where did I put this? The other thing that's happening is there's an awful lot of like cellular regeneration and also clearing out. So throughout the day, we get toxins that build up throughout our brain. When we're sleeping, the gaps between the cells widen. And when the gaps between the cells widen, it allows this cerebral spinal fluid to sort of wash through the brain. And this sucks out all these toxins and takes them away. Now, just one night of poor sleep can lead to a buildup of these toxins. Now, these toxins, without going all morbid and stuff again, there has been links between lack of sleep and the progression of Alzheimer's. Now, this is still being looked into, so please don't go on a stress or worry type thing, but it's just something to be aware of, because the beta amyloid, which is basically what's building up in your brain, that's been implicated in Alzheimer's. So it's something that they're looking into. But again, it's just another really important reason why we need to get good quality and quantity of sleep. Also, obviously, as your body is out for the count, and it goes through different stages. So there'll be stages where your muscles are sort of there. You know, if you think about animals that sleep in trees and stuff, they've still got to have a degree of muscles on tap to keep them in the tree type thing. But we do go into sleep where we're just all rested and relaxed, and your overall body is then rested and relaxed for the next day. So there's an awful lot going on. It's not just that you close your eyes and you're dead to the world until the next morning. So when you are perimenopausal, I will be completely honest, this is something I had to research a little bit because I've not, touch wood, got there yet. So I sort of went for the main symptoms, but please, if there's anything else that comes up whilst you're watching this, just stick a note in the comments, tag me, and even on the replay, if you're watching it on replay, I can come back and try and answer any questions for you or point you in the right direction. So when you start to go through menopause, perimenopausal, you know, your hormones are all going over the place. We're going through this massive change, and then alongside with that comes a whole host of different symptoms and different ailments and stuff. So I've named a few here. So you've got things like the hot flushes, the night sweats, mood changes, joint stiffnesses, aches and pains, recurrent UTIs, worse PMS. Now, looking into this, it's actually a mega vicious cycle, because a lot of these issues here, forgot it's in there, a lot of these issues here are going to disrupt your sleep. But also a lot of them are then exacerbated by poor sleep. So it's a vicious circle of getting through it. You'll often see as well when you go through all the symptoms, poor sleep is often sort of noted as a symptom, but of course it is, because it's affected by all these other ones. There are things that you can do though, which is a good thing to know. And there's a whole host of different things that can be done. Now, going back to the symptoms, what I would advise is there's certain ones that you can't really do sort of balance out as well at home. So the things like the night sweats, if you're having night sweats that are not massively disruptive, so let's say that they're on a scale of 1 to 10, and you sort of said, oh, my night sweats were down at like 1, 3, something like that. You know, you knew you had them, but it wasn't that disruptive. Then what I would advise doing is maybe having a separate duvet. If you have a partner in bed with you, have a separate duvet, have a separate bedding, not bed, but separate bedding, and have lots of different thinner layers so that you can quite easily, if you wake up in the night and you think, oh, my temperature's rose, rather than getting up and having to get changed and turning a fan on and opening a window, rather than disturbing yourself, you can very easily just take a couple of layers off. And then if you're waking up again because you're colder, you can put them back on again without trying to disturb yourself or your partner too much. However, if these night sweats are getting to the more severe end where, you're waking up and you're literally drenched, your bedding is drenched, then that's where I would say go to your GP and see what they can recommend in regards to controlling the night sweats, because you don't want to be waking up in the night completely drenched, having to take your nightwear off, put your nightwear on, sort your bedding out, and then get back into bed. That's just going to be a massive, massive disruption. But that would probably be one where I would say, yeah, go on, off you go. Everything else, though, there's loads and loads of things that can be done. So looking at your routine, most of us, especially when we have children, they get to a certain age and you're like, right, you get asked, when are you sleeping through, what's their sleep like, blah blah blah, and we have so much focus on child's sleep. You try and get your kids into a bedtime routine. You make sure that they go to bed at a certain time if they've got school in the morning. You make sure that their bedroom is calm and relaxing. You might put on some music or some pretty lights and things like that. We put so much effort into kids' sleep routine, and then when it comes to our own, we just go, I'm gonna go to bed now. And we just lack that whole routine. So there are so much stuff that can be done. My main advice would be prioritize it. So this is Dudek, by the way. So if you prioritize your sleep just as much as you prioritize eating well, going to the gym, doing well at work, if you put sleep as a priority, you're already onto a winner. Because what's going to happen is you're going to start to maybe set yourself a bedtime. The structure that we give kids, we try and make them go to, we try and, especially during the week, right, school's tomorrow, you're going to bed at 7 o'clock every night. Same with adults. If you've got to be up at 7 the next morning, count backwards, maybe 8 hours, give it half an hour either side for waking up and going to bed, and then say, right, that's my time, I'm going to bed, and stick to it. Be religious about it, stick to it, because your body will thank you for getting into that routine. And you can also set little things up yourself. So like you can say, right, well, I'm going to go to bed, I'm going to go to our bedroom, I'm going to do a 10-minute meditation, I'm going to have a relaxing smell on or something, whatever does it for you. And that's my little routine every single night. Yes, okay, there's the odd night where you might go out for a meal or whatever and it throws it off a bit. But as general, as much as you can, most of the time, set yourself a routine. A really good thing as well when you think about your routine, it's not just nighttime. Think about morning time and daytime as well. So it's really important. It's really good if you get up in the morning and you can give yourself a good 30 minutes, 40 minutes in natural daylight. It actually helps your circadian rhythm, your internal body clock, set itself up for that evening, because you're telling it that this is morning time, this is the time when I'm awake. And it will start functioning through its normal patterns, ready to go to sleep at the appropriate time that evening. Your environment. So you want to walk into your bedroom and go, oh, this is a place for sleep or sex, basically. You don't want to walk into your bedroom and go, oh my God, there's my desk and I haven't done my emails and I haven't done this and I haven't done that. And I know it's hard at the moment with many people who've now started working from home, and this is obviously going to be something that goes on a bit more, but you really, really have to try and get that work environment out of your bedroom, because otherwise subconsciously you're going to be taking work to bed, you're going to start dreaming about work, and you're going to bring any stresses with you to work as well. So make that environment welcoming and relaxing in whatever way you need to. If light really affects you falling to sleep, try and get some blackout curtains, try and make it really dark, try and make sure that you're not disturbed by sound, make sure it's not too hot, it needs to be quite a cool ambient temperature. If you want to have a nightlight on, it's not just for kids, but if you want to have a relaxing nightlight on, or essential oil diffuser that got pretty lights on, go for it. I always think about where I feel most relaxed. When you go for a spa, I know it's one of those things we've kind of forgotten about, But you know, when you go for a spa, you go in and you immediately feel relaxed, and that might be the environment that you want to create. Also, as well, you do have to bear in mind partners as well, which is a bit awkward. But anyway, speaking of partners, actually, these partners, pets, as well as children, obviously, these are other sleep disruptors that you need to pay attention to. Foods. So there's certain foods that will. Have I put caffeine and stuff now? Okay, cool. There's certain foods that will inhibit you sleeping. So spicy foods can slow it down. Going into the two liquids. So caffeine. First of all, caffeine. We all know caffeine is there, as a sort of drink to keep you awake, but it actually has a really, really long half-life. So even though you're having your mid-afternoon brew, that can still be affecting you come bedtime. And you might be one of these people who say, oh no, it's fine, I can have a coffee before bed and I'm fine, it doesn't affect me. You might not necessarily wake up and be aware of it, but you may find that you've got an issue with your sleep cycles. Like you might not be getting as much deep sleep or as much light sleep. You might be waking in the night but not fully realizing it. And caffeine's really sneaky because it turns up in a whole host of different places. Maybe try switching to decaf earlier on in the day, but just be aware that even decaf has some caffeine in it. Because basically what caffeine's doing throughout the day as we're burning energy, our brains are having a build-up of adenosine, which is basically the energy particle once it's broken down. So I like to think of it like a train station. Okay, so you've got a train in your head, and this train is taking on passengers of adenosine. Now this train will only go when it's full. So the adenosine throughout the day is getting on the train, and then when it comes, and this is called sleep pressure that's building up, and then once it's built up, the train will go out of the station, and then that's you going to sleep. What caffeine does is caffeine stands at the doors of the train and goes, no, you're not getting on. No. And it stops that adenosine getting on the train. So what happens is you feel alert still because the sleep pressure isn't building up because you've got caffeine particles going, nope, don't get on the train. But then what eventually happens is the caffeine goes, no, I'm done here. I'm off. And then you suddenly get a rush of all the adenosine that's been building up, and that's why you then get that slump. So caffeine's really, really, really important, and it is a really good thing to look at. Alcohol. Alcohol is not a sleep aid. Alcohol sedates you. It doesn't make you go to sleep, and that's two different things. So when you're sedated, you are literally turned off. Whereas sleep, as I've said before, there's a whole host of things going on. So just think about evening alcohol consumption. If you feel that you're having a stressful day and you need that glass of red wine before bed, or then it turns into two, but it's okay because you go to sleep when you get into bed, you'll find you'll have more disrupted sleep with alcohol. So just be aware of that. Layering, I was talking about the hot sweats and stuff. Prioritize it. There's going back to the environment, there's a whole host of apps and things you can get now. So you've got things like there's the Calm app, which is brilliant for relaxing music, relaxing bedtime stories. Sleep stories aren't just for kids; they can work wonders with adults too. You can have meditation before bed. Again, there's a whole host of these available on apps and on YouTube and things like that. Journaling's a good one if you're dealing with stress. So if you're building up with stress throughout the day, if you're running at a million miles an hour, by the time you get to bed, you're still going to be running at a million miles an hour, no matter how much you're trying to sort of put yourself in that relaxed state. Or if you're dealing with anxiety or low moods or something, sometimes if you're in bed and your brain's still ticking over, going, oh God, I'm so worried about that, or oh, I need to do this. Why is this happening? Rather than it going through your head, it can be really therapeutic to get just a piece of paper or a journal and just write it down. If it's something that you want to get out of your head, sometimes write it down, screw it up in a ball, lob it out the window. In your head, actually, removing it from your room can be super therapeutic. Journaling will be good because you can get stuff out. Sometimes you can work it out before you go to bed. Gentle movement before bed as well. So you can go online and have all sorts of look at yoga, especially if you've got joint aches and pains, or you're struggling with worsened PMT and stuff. Some gentle yoga and stuff would be brilliant. You don't want to be exercising too close to bedtime because you're just going to be buzzing. You're just going to get in bed like, way. But if you could do something like gentle yoga or stretching, things like that, that can be really useful, really therapeutic for you. I don't know what I've meant by putting treatment. I presume I was talking about going to the GP. There's a whole host of other stuff as well, like you can use essential oils. There's two things. Oh no, we're not wrong. I'll tell you what, this is something that I love. Where's Mrs. Camera? This is called Modo. I'm going to start stocking this on my website when it's up. This is brilliant. So this is moldable aromatherapy. So it smells really nice, and it's basically like a Play-Doh for adults. You can get kids ones as well, but especially if you're feeling stressed. But if you're feeling stressed or anxious before bed, playing with this can release some tension. It also smells very, very nice as well. There's all sorts of like bedtime herbal teas and stuff as well at the moment. I particularly like this one. What have we got? TikTok Wellbeing at Bedtime. Chamomile, lemon, lavender, and rooibos. Ooh. So there's loads of different stuff out there, and a lot of the time, if you're just trying to sort it out for yourself, it is just a case of seeing what works, noticing what works, writing it down. But I know I was making it sound like the end of the world about sleep. There's so much stuff you can do, and you just really have to, first point of call, prioritize it. Just as much as you go, oh, I need to lose a couple of pounds, so I'm going to cut out junk food and I'm going to go to the gym more. And that's your priority. Give it 4 weeks and say, you know what, I'm just prioritizing my sleep. Work through different things. Look at your diet. So write your diet down throughout the day. Look at how busy you are and how stressful you are throughout the day and stuff as well. Now, it is sometimes hard to do it on your own. So if you are struggling, it is really, really good to work with someone who will have an objective view. So this is where I do one-to-one coaching, basically all aspects of your lifestyle to increase your overall wellness, which in turn will increase your, will improve your sleep, your zest for life, and it is tailored specifically to your needs and requirements at the time. So I will do a whole life look at, and we will really chisel down to look at what might be causing an issue, how we can rectify it, and how we can rectify it easily as possible. So that's something that's available. You can always drop me a message at any time. Hunt me down. I am mainly in Instagram. I mainly hang around in Instagram. I am at McKee Wellness. I am on Facebook at McKee Wellness again. Or you can email me at, funnily enough, sharmckeewellness@gmail.com. You can also find me in the Ladies Life Lounge that way. So come and join us in the Ladies Life Lounge. Obviously, this is what our whole the summit has been about. Coming in and seeing what we're doing and come and join us. So the doors to the lounge are now open. They have been open since Wednesday, but they are closing at midnight on Monday. So this is your last chance to really come along, get involved, and see what it's all about. It is an amazing space for women. You have an access to a library of online video modules, downloadables, each under the 7 Pretty Secrets. They do 2 live monthly masterclasses with industry experts, and there's also a back catalogue there, so you can really log in and find what you need to work on and the information there to help. It really is the best community of supportive women. You know what? I have been a member for a very short space of time, but I've loved it. I have connected with people, and I have, you can just put questions in there. You feel like it's a little group of friends on your phone. And it is a really, really supportive group. We do have then the team of our resident experts, including myself and the other guys that you've met throughout these 4 days. We're on tap for any help or any advice. We can point you in the right direction. We do monthly group coaching video calls. There's a book club. We do social events. There's one coming up in Birmingham shortly. There's a load of perks and discounts, and you have easy access to Jodes and Roxy as well, who have been amazing. So normally this would cost you £49 a month with an annual membership of £4.99. We have a special offer only until midnight on Monday, where it's £29 per month, and you will keep that price for life. The annual membership then works out at £299 as well, but only till end of midnight Monday. So if you want to come and join us, you're not signed in either. So if you want to just come and try it for a month, see how you get on. If you want to go, that's fine. We'll miss you, but that's fine. To sign up, click this link or type this link in here. I will put it in the comments below once the video is uploaded. I will also put my links in the comments below as well. So please come and hunt me down because it'd be lovely to chat. And also, if you do sign up with wherever the link is, with my link, I will throw you in a cheeky bonus. I will basically also send you your 8-step guide to improving your sleep whilst perimenopausal. There's actually 9 tips in that. I added the last one in at the end, but it will basically sum up everything we've gone through today, and it'll give you some more specific tips. You will also receive a free recorded sleep meditation and grounding morning meditation to kickstart your day. So that will all be sent out to you if you sign up with the link. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed listening to this today. Please make sure you have a lovely early night tonight. But seriously, if you need any help at all, any support with your sleep, your overall well-being, please do come hunt me down. I am in the Ladies Life Lounge hanging out, or you can hunt me down in these places here. Any other questions, feel free to stick them in the comments, even if you're watching on replay. I have really enjoyed speaking to you all today, so thank you very much, and hopefully I will do in the Ladies Life Lounge very soon. Thanks, guys.